Dawn claims Diddy wasn't just financially abusive, he was physically inappropriate too. She says he'd make her strip down to her underwear, humiliate her by calling her all kinds of names, lazy, ugly, you name it, and criticize her body in front of his entourage. Once, while she was undressing for a fitting, Diddy groped her, pretending to show a stylist how he wanted her bra straps. He'd also smack her and complain that she was too skinny, like it was some kind of joke. And don't even get me started on the Christmas gift he suggested, breast implants. He actually told her, "You're an A cup." I'm thinking D. Imagine your boss saying that. As if all that wasn't enough, Dawn was also stuck in the middle of Diddy's infamous freak-off parties. You know the ones, wild gatherings where anything went. She'd be in the studio while these parties raged on. And sometimes Diddy would try her in front of everyone, crossing boundaries she didn't want crossed. And this wasn't just a one-off. He did this stuff repeatedly, pushing her to the edge. One of the more heartbreaking parts of her lawsuit is how trapped she felt. Diddy's threats weren't just empty words. He'd brag about making people disappear and getting away with anything. He had this control over her that went way beyond contracts and money. It was psychological warfare. She was constantly afraid for herself and her family. He even told her, "Don't call your dad unless you're in the hospital." Like, what does that even mean? Things got even more brutal for Dawn in 2010. After years of Diddy's nonstop grind, her health completely crashed. She was diagnosed with anemia, her white blood cell count tanked, and her joints were basically wrecked with something called arthralgia, which is just a fancy way of saying her body was falling apart. And according to Dawn, it's all thanks to the endless stress and pressure she was put through under Diddy's watch. And let's not forget, Dawn's not the only one making these accusations. So, we already know Cassie sued Diddy for how horrifically he treated her. Like, we've all seen glimpses of it on camera. But Dawn Richard came through with some jaw-dropping details in her lawsuit that paint an even worse picture. Dawn said she witnessed Diddy literally put hands on Cassie in front of everyone, like it was nothing. One of the most shocking moments, Diddy storms into the kitchen, cussing out Cassie, calling her the B word, screaming, "You never do anything right," and then throws a hot skillet full of eggs at her. According to Richard, Diddy went off on Cassie for not cooking eggs right. He was high as a kite, choking her and dragging her up the stairs like some kind of monster.